Woo! 5-1 since 2002. It's a good win. It's a good win. What is up, fans? Miami Dolphins 5-1 for the first time since 2002. A lot of stuff we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about stats, all that stuff. Tomorrow in the deeper dive, I have a lot of cool statistics that Raheem Mostert's doing, that the offense is doing, all that cool stuff. But before we jump into all that, I do have to shout out today's sponsor, and that is BetUS. Fantastic, reliable site. They have a ton of different sports, from golf to football to baseball to basketball, all over the place. Crazy props. They have end of season bets, all that good stuff. Go check it out. Link in the description. Sign up with the link in the description, and you get 125% matched of up to $100. So go check it out, and BetUS, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. So let's jump into this. We're going to talk about statistics, and we're going to get into the opposing team first. Bryce Young, 23 for 38, 217 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 85.1 passer rating. Rushing wise, Hubbard had 19 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. Then receiving, Adam Thielen, we'll talk about him, 11 catches for 115 yards and a touchdown. Outside of him, no one did anything. And they had 0 sacks on the day. 0. They had a pick 6, but that was Mike White's pick 6. Other than that, they didn't do much. The Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa, 21 for 31, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns, 126 passer rating. Yeah, Mike White coming through one interception. Bad. Pick 6. Raheem the Dream Mostert, 17 carries, 115 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had a long of 49 yards. Savon Ahmed also got a touchdown, 6 carries for 23 yards. Receiving, Tyreek Hill, 6 catches for 163 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 7 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert had a touchdown reception, 3 receptions for 17 yards and a touchdown. Braxton Berrios, 2 catches for 20 yards. Sack-wise, the Miami Dolphins had 4 sacks. I kind of hope they had more. Christian Wilkins got 2. Bradley Chubb got 1. Zach Sealer got 1. But outside of that, that's about it statistic-wise. Let me give you team statistics. We have the Miami Dolphins had a total of 424 yards. The Panthers had 296 total yards. 1 turnover for the Dolphins. And on first downs, the Miami Dolphins had 23 and the Panthers had 21. Time of possession, the Panthers eked us out 30 minutes and 44 seconds to 29 minutes and 16 seconds. Do I got any more stats I could tell you guys? First downs, I told you. Rushing first downs, Dolphins had more, 8-6. Let me see penalty-wise, because I know 3 for 25 for Miami, 3 for 11 for the Panthers when it comes to the penalties. So let's look at this game. It started off messy. Right, the Dolphin defense came out. Bradley Chubb had the sack, got him to be a 3-and-out. It was a beautiful thing, and then a 3-and-out on offense. And I will say this: I really liked. I don't think it was the next drive. Right, we gave up a long touchdown. The defense just looked tired, and we came out 3rd and short. I love the play call of getting under center like you're going to QB sneak it, and then he dropped back and just sailed the pass to Raheem Mostert. If he caught it, and we'll look at it in the film breakdown, I feel like he would have got a touchdown, if not huge yardage, but he sailed the pass. And then we 3rd and 3 on our opposing, defensive drive, illegal substitution, and they marched down the field. And I'm just like kicking myself. I'm like, but then Dolphins get on the board. Duke Riley stopping them on the fake punt. We Dolphins get the ball back. Huge run by Mostert. That's when we get the touchdown. Now it's tied 14-14. Defense 3-and-out. Then a touchdown from Tyreek Hill with the backflip. And it's funny. I'll get into all these little tweets that I have when it comes to that. But Tyreek Hill says he doesn't play for the money. So being fined, he's like, I don't care. He doesn't play for the money. But Mike McDaniel said that he went up to him and was like, what happened? Excessive, you used a prop? And Tyreek Hill said, but it wasn't my phone. It is what it is. And then three, touchdown, Baker, and AVG at one point I think it was Long Jr. and AVG at middle linebacker at one point because Baker got banged up. Adam Thielen they marched down the field and they hit Adam Thielen 3 times to get down the field. And then the CBS broadcast jinxed the crap out of Pinheiro, their kicker, saying that Pinheiro made 24 consecutive kicks inside the 50-yard mark. And then he missed. And I said it on the live stream. I'm like, they just jinxed this man. They just said he made 24 consecutive kicks, and now he's going to miss. And he missed it. So the Dolphins go into half up 21-14, and then they never looked back. Defense came out 3 and out. The offense came out 3 and out. Wasn't something we were used to. They had that beautiful sack formation that I told you guys about where they had Sealer and Wilkins down on. So if I'm the quarterback, it was Sealer and Wilkins to my left. Then they had Baker and Phillips standing up to my right. And then they had Bradley Chubb standing in between 2 down defensive linemen and Wilkins and Sealer. Really messed with you. Got the sack there. But overall, we beat them, right? It should have been 42-14, but obviously Mike White throws a dumb pick 6, but the defense gave up 14 points. The defense held them to a total of 296 total yards. Tua by himself had 262 passing yards, just by himself. So the defense did what they had to do. Again, it was messy at times, but if I were to tell you without you watching the game, and again, there's semantics to these things. Statistics don't tell the whole game. But if I were to tell you without watching the game, our defense held their team to 14 points and 292, I think I said, 96 yards total, and we got a turnover. They got a turnover, sorry. What would you think of that game? And we won 42-21. You'd be like, oh, wow, the defense seemed like they did their thing. And then, the offense, yada, yada. So, overall, they started rough. 14-0. Started real rough. But again, there's a reason that the Panthers are now 0-6 and the Miami Dolphins are 5-1. Is because the Dolphins are able to bounce back from these type of games. Like, look at the Chargers game. They're able to make the stops when they need to, and they're able to bounce back, right? You look at penalties, though. It is sloppy, and you're facing a team going into Sunday night's game that's a good team. Right now, against the Jets, I think they're beating them. Last I checked, it was 14-12. It is now still 14-12. It's a close game. Now, the Jets have a good defense, so that's the reason why Philly's only scored 14 points. But if the Dolphins could just find a way to make it click, this team can be dangerous. But that's the thing. And that's what everyone wanted. And that's something I wanted to talk about as well, about the defense, right? The defense is the problem, not necessarily the offense. Now, they asked Liam Eichenberg about how he thought he did, right? Liam Eichenberg via Chris Perks. I think I got better this game. Obviously, there's some things I need to fix and correct, and obviously that comes with the new position, but I think that was a positive step forward. I'm going to keep working at it. He did have a better game. Liam Eichenberg had a better game than Buffalo, but my reaction to his game is because he still had allowed 3 tip passes. And on Tuttle had 3 tip passes because Liam wasn't making contact with him, allowing Tuttle to get up and get his hand up. So to me, the offense really doesn't have a problem. Tyreek Hill came off the field a bunch of times. Fun fact, and I think the statistic might be a little off because since I saw this stat, it's been like 2 weeks. Tyreek has been on the field 60% of the time when Tua's, throwing. And he's still as efficient as he is, right? So the offense is not the problem. It's the defense. So now we're going to talk about the defense. I will say this. Am I saying Vic Fangio is not to blame? No. He's the defensive coordinator. This is his baby. He needs to fix it. But there are people who are getting so upset with Vic Fangio because I think they had a preconceived notion that he was going to come in and take this defense into a top 5, top 10 defense his first year. Now, am I saying it shouldn't be? I don't know. But it wasn't even a top 15 last year. The defense last year was 22nd. So it's going to take a minute. So a lot of people are like, oh, he sucks. He should be fired. Vic Fangio hyped up, blah, blah, blah. But yet we hold him to 14 points, 296 total yards. But it's the Panthers, Doug. Okay, you weren't saying that when the game was on. So, but again, the defense needs to step up because you're going to be facing Philly, very good offense, and you're going to be facing Kansas City, very good offenses. Now, I noticed while watching the game, they can't contain outside runs. They need to do a better job at that. A lot of times I noticed they would just bounce to the outside. Our guys were having a hard time doing that. Also, there is no pass rush. And this isn't something I'm saying just this year. So again, it's not a Vic Fangio problem. It is because he's a DC, but I'm not blaming him for it because of the simple fact that I've been saying we cannot generate an organic pass rush for how many years now? I said it when Boyer was our DC. I said it when Flores was our head coach. We cannot get a sack or a pass rush with just 4. We constantly have to generate pressure by sending blitzes. This type of defense doesn't run on that, right? He plays a zone defense in the backfield and in the secondary, and your front 4 is supposed to get there and get pressure on the quarterback so your zone doesn't allow the receivers to find the soft spots. And we saw that with their first, 2 touchdown drives is we couldn't get pressure on Young. And that was allowing Thielen to he's the vet, and find the soft spots in our defense. And Young was just finding them and target them, find them and target them. They need to get some type of pass rush. Now, obviously, Bradley Chubb, to me, I'll keep hoping and praying, but as of right now, he's not worth the money or the trade that we did. He's just not as dynamic and as disruptive as he should be, as he was, his first 2 years, give or take. He just disappears. And it sucks. Phillips, I don't know what's going on with him. He was usually more disruptive last year. This year, he's is he still, the oblique thing he might still be dealing with. Christian Wilkins had 2 sacks today. Love it. But again, he's another guy who you wanted to get paid, but you're not really there when we need it in certain situations. With the trade deadline coming up, and I'm making a specific video about who the Dolphins should target in a trade if they do target anyone, I wouldn't be against them getting a legit, dynamic, disruptive pass rusher. Like a guy who you need to double him. You need to shift your offensive line on his side because he is going to make your life a living hell. I want the Dolphins to find that. And then whatever you need to do with Chubb, whatever you need to do with whoever, I want that guy. I want that TJ Watt. I want that Aaron Donald. I want that, I forgot his name, he plays for the Browns. I want that. Where you have to know where that man is because he's going, Nick Bosa, I want that too. Because then all of a sudden the secondary starts to work because then your front 4 is doing their job and then the opposing quarterback doesn't have time for their receivers to get open. But I've been saying this, Fangio needs to find a way to marry the 2 types. And he has. I've seen him this game blitz Cater, and he's blitzed Baker, and he's blitzed David Long Jr. He has married them together, and he's doing his thing. That's why I like when people are like, he sucks. What a waste of money. We need to fire him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, guys, like I'm seeing him do his thing and start to mesh them together and incorporate people, and it wasn't going to happen overnight. And I said that to you guys before the season started. So, but hey, like I said, Miami Dolphins 5-1, first time since 2002. Big game. Like I said, right now the Eagles are beating the Jets 14-12. Gonna This game Sunday night might be a 6-0 team facing a 5-1 team. The last undefeated team, the 49ers, lost to the Browns. So this might be a game where a 1985 situation where the Dolphins are facing the Chicago Bears trying to stop the undefeated season. It's going to be interesting, and you never know. It's going to be a hard game, though. It's not going to be a cakewalk, and it's that whole situation, which I'm not going to mention this again because it's a talking point by bitter fans of other teams. You play the opponent that's in front of you, and you beat the teams you're supposed to. The Miami Dolphins have beaten the teams they're supposed to. Now, Buffalo in Buffalo is a hard game. And I'm going to pull a Buffalo Bills here, and I'm going to raffle off a ton of excuses. We were in Buffalo. We didn't have our starting center. We didn't have our starting left tackle. The offense was off because the offensive line was beat up. And you guys got pressure off of us having an absolute horrible center. That's the only reason you beat us. If not, we would have won that game. That's the sun, the traveling, this, and that. So I'm sound like a Buffalo Bills fan. But in actuality, you guys won. But you beat the teams you're supposed to. We were supposed to beat the 5 teams we did, and we did. Now it's about facing the opponents that are equal to you. Are we supposed to beat the Philadelphia Eagles? We'll find out. But hey, the Cowboys were supposed to beat the Cardinals. They couldn't do it. The Jaguars were supposed to beat the Texans. They couldn't do it. The Bills were supposed to beat the Jets week 1. They couldn't do it. Beat the teams you're supposed to. So at the end of the year, you're not sitting back like, if only we would have won that game. We were supposed to win that game, a.k.a. 2021. Man, if only we would have beat the Texans and if only we would have beat the Falcons and the Jaguars, we would have made the playoffs. We're doing that. So, one game at a time. On to Philly. Actually, no, because I got the deeper dive tomorrow. But enjoy this win and then on to Philly. But other than that, I'll see you guys later tonight with the best of, and then tomorrow with the deeper dive. But like usual, stay classy. Our friends out.